Wonderful. Okay, so today I want to talk about the critical aspect of our professional environment, which is detecting competency gaps in the workplace. It's not just a buzzword, it's a vital practice that can make or break our competitive edge in the market. I think it's easy to identify the red flags that we have, or we know we have to pivot, but sometimes it's those subtle differences that can really make the difference, right? So first, let's understand the importance of this issue. In today's fast-paced world, staying competitive, as we know, means constantly evolving. I'm sure for those of you that attend the localization conference circuit, it's all about AI and how everything is rapidly evolving. And I think a lot of people are feeling it, especially if you work in the translation of software or video games or in more of the tech space. But addressing competency gaps is crucial because it ensures that our workforce is equipped with the skills needed to meet current and future challenges. And that's really the key. Everything is evolving so quickly. So what are the future challenges that we need to prepare ourselves for today, because it's going to change tomorrow, right? So without this, we risk falling behind our competitors and losing our market position. We've seen so many layoffs in this industry. And it's about how do we pivot so we can stay ahead of the necessity to potentially, keep our people moving in the right direction. So now, what exactly is a competency gap? Well, by definition, it's the divergence between the existing skills of our employees and those required in the modern job market. So again, as Natalia was saying, what are your job descriptions? Are they really relevant for today's role? How often are you reviewing them? And it's important to do the work to define for yourselves where you have competency gaps. So this gap can be a silent killer, and it slowly erodes our efficiency and effectiveness if we don't identify it. But where does this gap come from? Well, the origin lies in the rapid pace, again, of evolution in our industry. Our education and training structures often struggle to keep up with these changes, leading to a mismatch between what our employees know and what they need to know. This is a natural consequence of progress, but it's one we must actively manage. I mean, sometimes you're working in one way for many, many years, and you have a new client that wants to see everything AI driven. They want to see what the cost savings you can produce for them, right? And they speak a different language to your team. And how quickly can you prepare your team to adapt to that client's needs, right? And it's those moments that can either push you forward, right, or have you dragging behind. And so finally, let's consider the consequences. Well, a workforce that's inadequately prepared for current challenges can lead to significant delays in organizational adaptation. Just as I was saying, if you have a client that you need to adapt for, will that business go elsewhere if your team can't get up to speed fast enough? Are you dragging your feet in innovation that could save your people time and therefore is leading to overwhelm and overwork? Is it affecting morale that things feel stagnant? We must recognize and address these gaps promptly to ensure that our teams are always ready to tackle new challenges, because our jobs as HR professionals or managers within your team is really to give our people the right set of tools, right? So let's commit to continuous learning and development to keep our organization at the forefront of the industry by this really simple technique of detecting competency gaps. And we'll talk about how we do that in a minute. So what can happen when we address the skills gap, and what are the most important things to consider? Well, first and foremost, I'd say strategic alignment is key. We need to know where our company wants to go. We need to have these conversations at the leadership level, but within your teams as well, right? It goes back to what we were saying in the first session. Having not only a 1-year HR plan, but a 3-year plan is really important, right? Because we're going to be crafting things like an upskilling program that can really push and drive these changes within our organization. However, you need to know what is it that is the business's overall 3-year plan. Are you shifting market sectors? Are you pivoting to a new organizational process? Are you looking for business process improvement? The closer you can align to that, the closer as HR professionals we can build out programs around these things. And your vision will be more effectively executed. So the benefits of addressing the skills gap are manifold, but professional development for our employees is not just a perk, it's a necessity, I'd say. When we invest in our team's growth, we see increased employee retention and attract new talent who are eager to join a forward-thinking organization. We've definitely seen that here at AvantPage. People are really interested to join us because our team is constantly talking about, all the interesting and exciting things that they're doing. To learn new processes and different specialities, right? So moreover, a well-trained workforce leads to improved organizational effectiveness and market competitiveness. So we become more agile and innovate and better equipped to tackle the challenges of tomorrow. Now, with all this evolution, there's tons of tools out there, right, that you can utilize to upskill your people. There's Talent LMS is one that we use. I think Natalia Terry uses it as well. Is that right? It's a really great way of creating like a track for people. You select little modules and you can get them to become better communicators, or you can train them in AI efficiency techniques. And it can be cost prohibitive, but it's a resource. There's Coursera or Udemy. These are all like academic learning modules. And, shout out to Beluga is building something. So we can talk about that more a little bit later. But there's a lot of incredible things out there, and they're leveraging technology and technological features such as AI to really make these things as efficient as possible. So there's free resources. There's no excuse for us not to be building out programs for people that we need to upskill, right? And lastly, collaboration with leaders is definitely essential. So working close to our leadership team ensures that our skills development initiatives are aligned with our strategic business goals, as I mentioned in strategic alignment. But the leaders are the people that are going to know most closely what it is that the people on their team are really excited to do, what the needs of the team are. So continuing that conversation so that the collaborative aspect is there, and also ensuring that managers are creating the space for their employees to have time for upskilling and foster that is really important. So addressing the skills gap is not just about fulfilling immediate needs, but it's about building a resilient, future-ready organization. And then, so how do we actually do this, right? The first step in the process is identifying your needs. So as we mentioned, we must both analyze the current and future skills requirements for each position within our company. In your Google folder that we have for these workshops, you'll see a template that we created just to help you get started. It involves, adding each employee's name or each role's name, and really starting off with what are those kind of competencies that are required in the current JD that you have. And, it could prompt you to look at what the future needs might be. And it involves understanding the evolving demands of your company, right, and the industry. So seeing what it is that you can do to push your people to be one step ahead of the game. So next, let's talk about the process. So as I mentioned, it begins with just a comprehensive assessment of the industry, and then also what are the requirements of the current skills of each employee. It's important to consider who you have within your current workforce in order to help you pinpoint where you can go. We all know those managers that are pushing the envelope, that are helping us pivot because they're, pushing new initiatives. And where would that be more important versus less important? Where do you want to see more structured processes that can stay the same? So really assessing your people. And the objective is to identify these gaps accurately and efficiently. So by doing so, we can develop targeted training programs that address these deficiencies and ensure our team is equipped with the necessary skills to excel. There's a rating system in your Google Sheet of what is the most critical skills gap that you should look at first. You might know it intuitively, but when you see both what is current needs of the role and what is necessary for the future of this role, the larger the gap, the more potential risks. So you might want to rank that up higher in your list to pay more attention to. And to facilitate this process, we have several tools at our disposal. So there's performance management systems that allow us to track and evaluate employee performance over time. The talent review process helps us identify high potential employees and areas for development. The 360 assessment provides a holistic view of an employee's skills and competencies by gathering feedback from their peers, their managers, and subordinates. And lastly, the training needs detection form is a valuable tool for identifying specific training requirements. And all of these things you can do really cheap. You can find free templates online. You can use Microsoft or Google Forms to create a 360 review. So and AI is a great tool, right? So if you have Copilot or ChatGPT, you can ask it to just make you the form. There's no real barrier in getting these processes started, because what you'll yield is really important and really great for your business. So